computer. Yeah. So we can then share it. Yeah, so I've got my guest here today, Otunba Olabode Osenie, who is based in the United Kingdom. Otunba Osenie, he has majors in political sciences and law, which is a very interesting course combination. And for over the years, Otunba has been a TV broadcaster. And at the moment, he's presently the chairman media presenters for Yoruba Nation Advocates. I'm going to be asking Otunba some questions as it relates to Yoruba people, Igbo, Hausa, Fulani, and other tribes that make up the country we now call Nigeria today. I know quite a lot of people have had different kind of questions. They've had different types of things in Nigeria, about Nigeria, especially how it was formed and how it has progressed down the ages. I'm going to be asking Otunba some uncomfortable questions, so hopefully he's able to answer them. Otunba, I know Nigeria was amalgamated in 1914, but it's been under British influence, starting from the colony of Lagos since 1856. I noticed that your first degree was in Germany, as far back as in the 1970s. What took you out of Nigeria in the 70s? Because Nigeria was still very good at that time.
Thank you very much, Kayode. Well, I can tell you that one of the reasons why I left was to join thousands of our people who had traveled before me to seek for the green pasture. And around that time, I was working with a bank called BWA. The bank called BWA is today First Bank. I mean, obviously, it has gone through changes, names, and everything. And I was working with that bank, um, earning £32. Now we are getting our pay in pounds. And also, that was also the same time when John Major, one of the former prime minister of this country, was working in the same bank. So for me, it was a time uh, that I'm very hungry to further my education. But that was the time I just finished my uh, O level. So I need to do my A level. So I decided to combine work and further education together. So I was attending uh, Holy Cathedral Secondary School. I was going there after work to do my A level. Then I run into the problem of how do I get money to travel. So subsequently, when my brother is late now, decided not to help me, I used to start contributing àjọ Esusu. So mo bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí dájọ́ pẹ̀lú àwọn èèyàn kan àmì tá a bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí dájọ́ £25 every month. So I still have more than enough money. Torí mo ṣe ń dájọ́ ní £32, mo yìí ní bí £7, £8. Mo dẹ̀ ń try láti tún máa ṣe overtime. So gbogbo yẹn tún pẹ̀lú nǹkan tó jẹ́ pé ó help me. So subsequently, I mean, eventually I managed to get out of the country. But before I even go there, passport was given. I mean, I got passport through an old friend. He died also. He was the deputy president of the House of Senate, Washpam. He's from Plateau State. And he is also the first indigenous passport officer in Nigeria then. Because rìbá ti wà tí wọ́n máa ń gba rìbá, so every time tó bá pa owó ẹ̀ pé where do you get all this money, watch, and well, look, don't worry about yourself. So I was helping him to save the money in the bank, and because I was such a good person to him, he now asked me, what do I want, what look, I don't want anything than to get passport. So give me a passport. So the passport of Wangbai is like big pako by very, it's made of wood, not that kind of things. So once I got the passport, I started thinking of how do I fly then. So eventually, it was my savings that I managed to buy my ticket. It was on a Swiss Air in 1970 March, and well, around that time also, there's no need for visa. So getting to Germany, I gradually settled down, learned the language, eventually went to university there to study, and all that kind of thing. So that is the beginning of who is Hashim Olabode Osenie. So then I had two children there. The first one now is 7, his brother is 44 plus. So, and after that, after 10 and a half years, I used to go back home. So I went back to Nigeria to do my NYC. So I was posted to University of Lagos and then also International Affairs, Institute of International Affairs. So I, thereafter, I joined the UPN. Prior to that, I've always been in the household of the Awolowos. So I know the family right from 62 or so before I even traveled. So that's just a short background of who is Hashim Olabode Osenie up to the time when the country now becoming so ungovernable, so badly governed. So the question also is, one of the reasons why I left was because I am seeing things that are not working. Let me start by saying things are not working in the sense of education. Education is being badly managed. Social services are just non-existent. Around that time, it was NEPA law, up NEPA, all that kind of global company. But you see, because most of our Nigerians, they don't know what's the difference between good and bad. So that has always been an issue. So I was thinking, seeing your major or seeing our other in the morning when they come to work. Now, your woman hug another man, kiss another funny breakfast at lunch, so before. I've loved that kind of thing. So I want to be like them. So yes, those are the main reasons I believe led me to believing that in Nigeria, the way things are, maybe I could get something better life outside the country. So that's why I left in 1970.
You've mentioned some interesting things about your journey, how you came into your degree in Germany, and how you were prudent with savings. You mentioned something. You said you were earning 32 pounds as at then. And I could remember from history, I could remember that clerks were being paid 25 pounds as far back as 1914, when Lugard amalgamated Nigeria. So if we take 32 from 25, that's probably like 7 pounds difference. That 32 pounds would be roughly about $45 today. And if you look from 1976 to the present day Nigeria, because obviously we changed our currency from pounds into naira. And the naira has been on a free fall since 2015 till date. And you've highlighted why you wanted to study and why you wanted to travel out, because Nigeria was not working as far back as 1970.
1970, yeah.
Yeah. If we look at 1970 till date, that's probably about 51 years. You studied political sciences, and you've mentioned that you went into you joined UPN. What was your motivation for joining UPN?
Okay. Well, one of the reasons why I joined UPN was because the the leadership of UPN was a man that the whole world knows to be dedicated into serving humanity. He was Chief Obafemi Awolowo. Uh, Awolowo so much for his region, and then started to think of wanting to replicate all what he did successfully in Western region. To mention a view, it was during the administration of Obafemi Awolowo, which was just within 6 years, that he was able to legalize, to make it compulsory, free education from primary school and so on. And also, he was able to create infrastructure. He was able to manage the economy that hardly you find anybody in the western region of Nigeria, the western part of Nigeria, which is now the southwest. Uh, he created the enabling environment for businesses. And he also judiciously, and he was also very a prudent man, used the resources that collected um, to to finance many other infrastructure in the country. The records are still there, even though some people decided to take some of his glory. But the thing is, you cannot take somebody's glory if you are not the founder. If you are not the one, the people who have one earned it will always keep the glory, no matter what. And so when it now comes to the UPN time as the leader, I have always believed in him because I I live more or less in the house. I saw him virtually every day. Like I said, all what he has done made me to feel that if he's given a chance in the national level, he will have performed wonders. Because here is someone, more or less, I said it to a friend, he's more or less the one and only politician that I know that can sit down and draw the map of Nigeria. And that's also give me the belief that if you want to rule some people, you want to do certain things, you must know them, you must know the area. You must, it's just like a war, it's just like a general going to war. First thing first that the general must know, he must know all the environment, where he's going, the war front and everything. Otherwise, he just go there and flop. So Awolowo knows Nigeria. He knows everywhere in Nigeria, and that is the truth. That is the truth. He's dead now, and that is the sense that Awolowo is one person that would draw the map of Nigeria, put all the demarcations, all the necessary cobweb. You know, when you're trying to locate where is Ilaro, where is Gongola, and what are the towns under Yobe, where's Kaduna, all the small villages and everything there. And Awolowo is the only one man that I know very well that he will now, he also did, I mean, he will tell you this is a local government in somewhere in Sanfara and somewhere in Sokoto, and he will tell you this person is called Shehu, and his Shehu is the local leader of so and so in Guzau, and so on and so forth. So I was like uh, so happy with my education in political science because all what we are saying is when I came back that I'll be able to use his his
It's
inform
knowledge.
his knowledge to practicalize and make things happen in Nigeria. Because as you can see, Kayode, when I came, I live in a place, in a civilized place for 10.5 years. A country around that time, by the way, it was called Western Germany, not Germany as it has, because they merged far back to 1979. So I saw firsthand how human beings are treated, how living things are treated, how things were done in such a manner that for me, uh, uh, that is how government should operate. And I saw good governance first class. So when the UPN was started, when they started the UPN, so I was so happy to get to become a member. And also, as time goes on, also I became very close to the house, to our law, and then I have been opportune have the honor to attend high class meetings. That was when, during the time, uh, the blessed memories of Bolage, Ajasi, Onabanjo, but what are their names? Yakande, and there's one more name I'm looking for now, Ambrose Ali, and I think one more person. So they were all, when they gather, I have the privilege of staying in the room that is being used, that they were talking about politics, state of the nation, and so on and so forth. So that's why I grabbed, that's why I learned, that's why I had my initial uh, knowledge of how government can be done. But then I also noticed that the people have been so bastardized with the previous government, and that it become very difficult. So he won the election. I want to be challenged. He won the election, but then he was rigged out of it, and that was how my uh, my initial. Those are the initial reasons. Let me put it that way. While I joined the UPN.
So, looking at your history with UPN, and you've just spoken now about your time with Chief Obafemi Awolowo, and his 6 years when he performed magic. Well, let me not say magic, a lot of wonders in Western Nigeria, as it is known then, and the greater things, the greater developments it brought to Western Nigeria. Now, having studied political sciences and looking at, because I know in political sciences, I'll be very certain that you would have done some human sciences as well, and human behavior. Now, looking at what happened to us in 1966 and the killings of the northern feudalists or the northern leaders that were ruling Nigeria at that time, and what they did, the antecedents, and going back how the British had manipulated the Nigerian system. Would you say you've been, the UPN or Chief Obafemi Awolowo and those from the Southwest and Midwest, we are naive that Nigeria would ever work again? Because I know you must have been in Nigeria when the Civil War was very hot.
I lost about eight of my friends. That's
yeah. And you left Nigeria shortly after the Civil War.
But when the Civil War ended, yeah.
Yeah. And looking at Chief Obafemi Awolowo in Gowon's government up until when he resigned, I think in 1974, and then he contested the elections in 79. Knowing the antecedents of what happened then, would you say the Yorubas or the Southerners have been naive that Nigeria can still work? Is that why, was that playing up in your mind at that time?
Yes. Again, like I said, my hero, the person I was following, was Chief Obafemi Awolowo, a great leader, a completely different kind of a human being that knows exactly what is good for his people, and a person who believes that he has a lot to offer, and also a leader who knows that if he has given the opportunity to rule, he will have transformed. Because he knows what it takes, what governance is all about. He is more or less one of the very few people that I know that he's prepared to do the job. He wasn't like just want to be leader of Nigeria or president of Nigeria without showing his qualifications. Qualification, I'm not referring to University of or just, the wherewithal, the opportunity, I mean, what he wanted to offer Nigeria. So the question of whether he would have known her, again, do not forget that Obafemi Awolowo, he was a human being, and he also, because of the kind of nature, the kind of a person he is, he he I think 1956, when when the independence was being proposed, was being worked on, it was clear that some part of the country, especially the north, they weren't really ready to go for independence, because they clearly said it, that they are not really ready. So when they say they're not really ready, that means uh, people, for people, for you and I to say that uh, you now think that, well, don't worry, we can weather the thing together. Let's go together. And he openly said it, and I think that is one of the very few undoing thing I believe now, that maybe he should have say something or do something different. But again, we're all human beings, and when you look at some people who are nice, they don't want they sometimes they can even be nice to their enemies, to their distractors. Yeah, but the only thing they will do is they will remain focused. So it was true that probably Papa did not know that things will turn out this way, because he believes he can help all Nigerians then, not only the Western, because he has already done wonders in Western region. So I will agree that maybe it was a mistake. It was a mistake which he made by saying, "Let us wait for our brothers."
Thank you very much. Well, mistakes are done by humans, and some mistakes we are able to correct, and some are difficult to correct, or perhaps, if not impossible to. You went back to university to study law. What motivated you? Why did you leave politics?
that's that's a story I can tell the world very gladly. Yeah, it was a time when I have done with my first marriage, and I was working. I was like a salesman. That's one of the best thing I know how to do best. There's nothing I cannot sell. I am very, very good at sales. So I was working in an insurance company. I was earning a lot of money around that time, and very happily married up to that time. So until when I left that job after a period of time, 5 years, you want to change. I learned all that in Europe, that after a period of time, you want to move on to another things. So I left, and I tried a couple of other things, and it's made me to feel like I still get the power, I still have the energy to continue doing what I'm doing. So part of the thing I was considering to do then was to become a black cab driver. And when I make an inquiry about black cab driver, the drivers were telling me that I need to wait 2 years to get registered in the first place, and then I need to do 1 year. And I say, oh my God, to become a driver, 3 years to get everything together. Then I'm talking of 1987, 88, 89. So I walk away. I said, look, I'm not ready for all this kind of thing. So then I thought it's something you can just get your driving license and start working. Because I got my driving license 31st of August 1971. And I've ever been driving. I enjoy driving. I think I say driving license. So left that, and then come a friend. He's also late now, who came to me and said, "Scratch card." That was telephone scratch card when they first started. And he said, "Buddy, let us start this business together." And look at that, I said, "Scratch card, okay. I'm earning very well. Okay, I'll come back to you." Somehow, I dodged. I didn't got along with that. So the question of how did I started thinking, or when did I start thinking of law? All the information I gave you now, uh, put them together, cumulated to my the reason why I decided to. And oh yes, I forgot. And then thereafter, after my after I got divorced, I now say, let me go and learn a issue of work in the course work on, because no matter what issue what about call, you cannot go wrong. So what came to my mind was to become a tailor. Even though I had my degree long time ago. So I, but then again, I was trying with the tailor guy somewhere in Shoreditch. And every time I go there to ever come, it was like playing me until one day when he said to me, ah, Egbon, a woman busy go, all that kind of thing. Oh, will coin chettle and follow long. What was I going to do with it? Commission, anyway, it was on that day I was going back home that I started thinking to myself. I said, hang on a minute, what's all this? But my mind didn't go to any other profession. I'll be honest with you. Probably I will have tried. So, but why am one? Come to my mind. You know what? Why don't I have the prerequisites, I have all the necessary, whatever. Let me go and study a profession that when I get old, I'll be able to use it. Or I can also, when I remarried again, I can use it with my partner. So that was all those things. And what came to mind was law. Ah, okay. So I went to register at Middlesex University. And again, they took all my papers and everything. I think I went through UCAS. I can't remember, but one of the two. I think, I went through UCAS. So at first, I also have the opportunity to have entered as a mature student. So both things were in my favor. So that's how I started, and that was 1995. That was 1995. 1995, the session 1995. So how that's how I started. Now, this information, in addition to all what I said, is I was 49. So when I went to study law, I was 49 years old in this country. So I wasn't young. It was like I first believe in myself. I also believe that it's something I can do. So I successfully completed and got my degree. And thereafter, again, there's so many other stories, unless you ask me. But that's how I got to study law.
Yeah. So you I would say you went in to study more like a vocation, not really looking to practice law.
I would probably say yes, yes, and no. Yes, in the sense that I wanted to add more to feather my cap and get another degree. And like I told you, I was having my head that eventually I'll be able to use it when I get old with a partner or in a law firm. But also there are so many other circumstances that made that impossible. But at least the degree law I studied, and I did some other little courses thereafter.
And then you left law and you went into broadcasting.
Yes.
That's a big diversion. Were you angry about not being able to use your political skills and not being able to use your law skills? And you said, well, if I can't use it, I'll talk about it.
Fantastic. You got that kind of that. I think you're a mind reader. That was then when I started seeing that where I come from, things are getting from bad to worse. And I say, what best can I do? So I come with the idea of want to start my own talk show to become a critic, to talk more and more about ills and bad governance in Nigeria. So I went to one of the black pioneer television station in this country, that's Ben Television. And I first asked Arimen to start my own talk show. For some reasons, again, after a period of time, I was eventually invited to come and join others and to be doing a talk show. But prior to that, I must also quickly say, in 2008, I have started broadcasting with Empower Radio and TV. On it was there I started learning the art of talking facing camera. So I did that for about a year and a half. Then gradually I moved from there with another broadcaster to Ben Television, and I was appearing every day on Punch. The program is called Punch. I was assisting one Tunde Alabi. We are doing it successfully until when I now graduated to different programs on then television. The most popular one is called You Decide. And You Decide is so popular that many people watch it. A lot of people love it. And again, they believe my contribution is worth listening to. So that's how I started my broadcasting career. And I must also say that in between, I was doing a 2 times a week radio broadcasting or radio comment. I travel all the way to a place outside, a little bit outside London, and I do every Tuesday is Yoruba, and every Wednesday is English. And again, I have a large audience because when you do radio and you see about 4 or 5 thousand people logging, that's a lot. That's a large number of people. So you multiply it by no, no, sorry, but it comes to not may not be exactly that figure to be accurate, but I have a large number of followers all over the world. People are logging in, even at different hours in Canada, in Brazil, in Dubai, different places, and I was enjoying it. So that's the story behind my venture into broadcasting and radio, and I really enjoyed it. So I'm missing my radio show. I'm looking forward to start it again. So hopefully,
I can bet. Now, if we look at Ben TV, your time with Ben TV, we I don't know whether it was when you were with Ben or when you've left. We had a British diplomat, I think Smith, who
yes,
was the then Labour minister, or he was in the Ministry of Labour in Nigeria, colonial Nigeria, before we had independence. And he made shocking revelations of how the British manipulated the 1959 elections. Were you privileged to that information at that time when he made those revelations?
Well, I think the guy who interviewed him is I forgot his name now. He's one of my colleagues, bosom friend. I read about all what he said, and well, when it comes to things like that, the accuracy might be a little bit, may not be 100% because it's a reported speech, it's a reported things from one. But if you look back and compare what that gentleman, he was in the studio with his wife. Is that the one you're talking
Yeah,
about?
yeah.
If you if you look at all what he said and remember that most of them are accurate, yeah. But Cody, you're taking me to an area I love to talk about. All what he said, let's assume they're 100% wrong or correct. I have always used the opportunity to talk on the television, on a platform like this, to ask the world what is wrong with us, the black people. Because I always use an example of your parents with 4 children died, and the father has always been so decisive, I mean, divisive, and he has not been a good father, messed a lot of things up for you and your brothers, your siblings. I think the common sense dictates that since he's gone, it's you being the firstborn to fix the problem he left behind because you still have 4 other siblings behind you, and because you still have maybe many years to live with them. Now, let me put that analogy together. All I'm trying to say is, if it has not been the problem we black people find ourselves, we shouldn't even be talking about the white man. They've gone. He's gone. Why can't we fix our problem? I want to be challenged by any professor, by anybody. But we choose not to fix our problem. We choose not to fix our problem because we don't see it as a problem. And because we always have few people among us who have chosen to take advantage of their own people, which is still happening as we speak. All what Mr. Smith said that is not new from what is still happening. So it's still happening. We're talking of slavery of 700 years ago. There's even more slavery now than even 700 years ago. The only difference is they don't need to shackle them and put them by force in a boat. But what is happening now is even worse than what happened 700 years ago.
Uh, I know, I would say till date, we've not taken the British government to court based on the information of Mr. Smith, which I would have expected our learned lawyers to take the British to court based on what they did, based on that evidence. I don't know how it works. I learned Mr. Smith himself is passed away. May his soul rest in peace. Seeing that he's dead and he's made those revelations, is this something that can still be tendered in court?
To a great extent, yes. Don't forget that even the situation I do, if it is an evidence of where you need to show or tender evidence, people can say dead people can still be exhumed for that kind of evidence. In terms of reported speech or what he said, analysis can still be deduced. The information can still be deduced to make a judge or a court to arrive at the decision. The decision might be controversial, but with the information we have at hand, in our hand, one can make efforts to do it. But clearly, now we got to another point where I'm very happy to contribute. Now, you see, you don't just go to court in a vacuum. As long as the Romanians, the Czechoslovakians, the Hungarians, the Russians, all of that, the Belgians and all that kind of people in this world, as long as they have a platform, one platform, they are united. They can sue anybody. Israel can take anybody to court. Even as it is, even the PLO, even though they are yet to have 100% independence, but they can form a concerted energy. They can put a synergy together and say they want to sue that UK call them names. But because we blacks or we Africans or we in Nigeria, we don't have that kind of platform. We don't have that. You cannot just walk into the court and say you want to sue for reparation. You are talking about reparation, isn't it? You are talking about reparation that eventually they're going to court to ask a court to judge on. Yeah. Subsequently, you go to judge for. You go to court because of eventually there can be a kind of a compensation, a kind of a reparation. But we're not going to get there until when we have a united, a unified force, a front. Again, I always say this: I want to be challenged by our so-called professor in law, professor in this and other kind of thing. So it is going to be very difficult for us to go to court because number one, the court will be we want to establish the jurisdiction, the standing, the local standing. How are we sure that you represent everybody? And we are good into. If I want to talk about Yoruba now, about 300 petitions will have arrived before I get there. So
I agree with you.
Yeah. So, and when the court look at that and say, excuse, Mr. Osenie, yes, fine, we want to hear your case, but we have so avalanche of
cases,
contradictory, whatever. So we might need take another 10 years to dissect that, and then we call it back. So that is the problem, and that is why the issue of going to any court to anywhere to seek for reparation on behalf of which group. See how it is easy. It's so easy. It's so easy for the Jews because they have a concerted effort that is used in making their case before any court. So, and that's why they get all the money of this one. They are still getting it per hour because you dare not say anything, tarnish or say anything bad about Jews. So, you see, there's a lot of lesson to be learned here. Until when we are able to come together and form a strong synergy, a strong front, yeah, then we might be having problems. So to go to court.
You've mentioned something about synergy, and I looked at the way the British merged even the Yoruba states, the Jeshas. We are not together with the Oyos. They were not together with the Egbas. They were not together with the Jebus. They were not together. So the British took quite a lot of effort in bringing the Yorubas together. Unsuspectingly, the Yorubas lost their sovereignty to the British, which is the problem we're still having till today. So like in the case of this lawsuit you're saying, if we have to sue the British, we still need to come together as one body. And that is the bane of the problem we're still having till today. I know a lot of people say the Yoruba is one of the oldest civilization on earth that's still going. We've had our own fracas and internal fracas. But that today has affected the living standard of a lot of our people. Take, for instance, if you drive in Ibadan, some parts of Ibadan, and you see those houses, ancient houses, majority of all these houses have gone underground. And clearly, they need to be demolished and rebuilt. Lagos is now sinking. Every rainy season, people can no longer stay in their houses. And in Ogun State, the problem is still the same, even where the former president of Nigeria comes from, Chief Olusegun Obasanjo. Now, looking at all the leadership we've had in Nigeria for since when the British left, what would we say is the problem of Yorubas till date that we still cannot identify the major thing that has put us in this present predicament?
Thank you, Kerde. Again, like I said, I'm able to, at least maybe with the little age I have on my head and the experience I have, and with the little education I have, because when you know there are some people they have about I have a friend who has about 16 PhDs, and but I'm still able to tackle him. I'm still able to tell him that what he's saying is neither right nor wrong, but we are still able to argue. The question is, like I said, people say united we stand, divided we fall. And I also want to quickly take you to the country UK. As we speak, you tell me which of the nationalities that is not in the UK, in the whole world. The whole world is here in the UK.
I agree with you.
And you tell me which religion that is not present in the UK. Hindus, the Sikhs.
You even had to take Christian and Islam out of their curriculum to just teach religion.
Thank you. So, still, when last did you read in the national newspaper? Because you and I live in the UK. When last did you read in the national newspaper that the system is marginalizing Yoruba or the Welsh again? Oh yeah, they have differences. But when last did you read it? That some people, some creeds, some religions, some people are being marginalized. It's not possible. Do you know what hold them together? What hold them together is rule of law. It's a system that makes everybody to be equal before the law. You see, as long as we want to hang on to our culture, especially the Yoruba culture, let's repeat our argument to Yoruba culture. As long as we want to create, we want to live with that antique, non-workable culture, we're not going anywhere. We will continue to have problems. So let's have a look at, if we were to change, if we were to start our new nation. I have always said it, that we will need to rewrite a lot of things. We need to create a situation where nobody should be above the law. The queen, the chiefs, the obas, the bailiffs, they will retain that, but they will not be above the law. The law will not sit down and allow Oba of Ibini, Oba of Onisha, Oba of Ile-Ife, and all these Obas to be doing what they are doing now.
But some people would argue with you that from historians will tell you from time immemorial, the Oba have not always been above the law. When the Obas do go against the law and what the people want, in most cases, the Ogbonis will go and say, Kabiesi, you've done this and the people no longer want you. And the Oba knows what he has to do.
Yeah, because he'll be asked to open a calabash and he will open it and he dies. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But as it is now, what I'm referring to, that's a very good input. But the point I'm making is, if we have to continue to see what is good, let's take the example of Ilefe. I deliberately use that Ilefe as an example. The only building that you can say that you can connect it to modern whatever architecture is more or less the Palace of Oloyo.
Is it the problem of the Obas now who primarily do not have power, or the problem of the government who the British has handed over their powers to?
I'm coming to that, but I just want to give you kind of a background, so in order to elucidate, in order to make my points more informative. The point I'm trying to say is that we need to change ourselves. Like I said, if your parents died and they have died and then they leave you properties every different location or whatever, and before they die, especially your dad was such a divisive person, he created problem, he had scattered everybody, disconnect everybody, and you now happen to be the firstborn, and mom is also gone. I think in the best interest of everybody, it's your first primary duty should be to bring everybody together. Am I right?
Yeah.
So when you bring everybody,
in the case of Nigeria now, who would we say is the firstborn? Because everybody will claim we are the first or you are the second. Who is who? The Fulani are claiming that they are the born to rule. Well, and the Igbos are saying we are not going to accept you.
Yeah, in the case of Fulani, if you want us to go there, I would have loved to finish my line of, but it's okay. Let me also quickly treat that. The Fulani are genuinely not part of Nigeria in the history. I'm not too good in history. They are people with a law or whatever. They come from different scattered Saudi Arabian countries or different part of the Egypt. They are not authentic Nigerians. They have always been cattle headers, rearers, and they've been going from one place to another. And during the
time, and that is the fundamental problem, because the British now has not handed over Nigeria to Nigerians; they've handed it over to foreigners.
That's fine. I mean, and that's why I keep using the analogy of if your father lives when the British handed over Nigeria to foreigners who are not one of us, we could have done better. And that's what I'm saying. And that brings me to the kind of human being we are. Are we human beings that develop spiritually, that knows that we should do good to everybody? We are not. We have allowed people who thrive in killing other people, who will eat cow raw and then use the blood to dow it, to drink it, to wash it down. These are the people, bloodthirsty human beings. And for us to have allowed to accommodate, to integrate them among ourselves, oh yeah, we need to take blame for that. Some of us who are civilized, who at least know that what is going on is wrong, we should take blame for that. And that is why I believe now we should do the best thing to do is to get them away from our territory, is to tell them we don't want to do business with you. Let us move on and start doing our own business. And that's where I think when the issue of Yoruba agitation comes in, and I'm striving, I'm doing all my best to be part of it, to contribute scientifically, socially, and everything, so that at least we have endured this kind of a very terrible time. And I think God will not forgive people like me and you if we are to leave it like that and continue not to do anything.
So shortly before we round up today, maybe probably before we come next time, but I'm going to ask this one last question, which regards the agitation you mentioned. Some people believe we should be our brother's keeper and we should rearrange Nigeria. And some people believe that Nigeria can no longer be arranged. considering the killings that is ongoing in the East by unknown gunmen. The North is now in flames. The Middle Belt is now in tatters. And the only place, I wouldn't say is also exonerated, but it's getting it minimally and it's now coming up. Yes, 2 days ago, we got a report that one former Air Vice Marshal was kidnapped in Lagos, including 2 others. I know where you stand. You want Nigeria. You want the Yoruba people to decide now to leave Nigeria. But for those who are still saying we can still repair Nigeria, what message do you have for them? And why are people still saying they want to still be in Nigeria? They hold their legitimate views.
Well, again, like a student of any subject in this world, there you will have to agree with me that there are many informations, there are many things, there are many parameters, there are many yardsticks you put together to enable you make a formal and informal decision. You cannot take decision on a vacuum. You don't know that means you don't know what you're doing. Well, we just need to ask our question the following. Number one, we've been in this contracted relationship for the last 60 years or more. Because let's start from 2000 when you started, the 2000 and the 1914 is it 1914?
1914 amalgamation.
That's just like when the First World War started. Well, when that all happened, there was this caveat that after 100 years, because maybe the people behind all this kind of thing thought that the whole world will not see another 100 years. But here we are. You are not part. You and I were not there. But then thereafter, when we are approaching 100 years, where the caveat say you can sit down, talk about.
But then the argument would be that in 1957 we actually sat down, so it was still within the 100 years, and we decided to still be together.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. When I will also say, for example, let's just wait for our brothers in the north, which is still within. You're right, it's still within. But all up to that time, some people like Awolowo was still having a good mind. They wanted to do good. They wanted to support the people together. He wanted people together because he saw that.
What was it a question of wanting too much power? Because for all intents and purposes, Chief Obafemi Awolowo is been exemplary in Western Nigeria. So was it because if you look at the 3 men that went to negotiate the independence of Nigeria in terms of Zik, in terms of Tafawa Balewa and Chief Obafemi Awolowo, Balewa was Ahmadu Bello. Ahmadu Bello was the only one who wanted to pull out of Nigeria. But Zik and Awolowo wanted the Nigeria. So was it an issue of, oh, we're going to get this Nigeria and I am going to become the president and perhaps suppress other people? Because Nkrumah did the same thing when he got independence for Ghana, and then he suppressed every other person's views.
Now, again, I'm still alive, and like I said, the works, all the contributions I will all put into the Nigeria of today, they're all there. People can go and read his books. People can go.
But what we're saying is, Nigeria on its own has 3 distinct lands. Although we could talk about the middle belt.
Yeah, middle belt.
That's either will be with the North or on their own. But at that time, Nigeria was carved into 3 distinct. The East would go to the East. Chief Awolowo will be in the West, and the Sadana will be in the North, and everybody will have their own 3 independent countries. If they want to split later, if they want to come together.
Yes, but not to take me too far away from the question, I want to try and deal with that question of to even back you up. Yeah, there are 3 distinctive areas or regions created, and one of them, like you said, Western region, Eastern region, and Northern region. Yeah, plus the middle belt, which is later on was joined to closer, closer to Western region, far away from North and East. Now, but don't forget, if you look at what Awolowo have done, I'm sorry I keep mentioning his name. You know, each one of these leaders were giving 2 million pounds, which is a large amount of money around that time, to go and start a kind of start your business. Well, today we all know what Awolowo did with his 2 million, and we all know what some people did with their money, taking entourage to Mecca, marrying more wives, building mosque and whatever, so many things. And Awolowo concentrated in tripling the amount of money by creating enabling environment. But don't let me lose track. What I'm saying is it wasn't in Awolowo's nature. And I happen to be saying this, and I hope this will go down in history. This recording, a lot of people all over the world, they can watch us, they can see, and they can write in and challenge me. Awolowo wasn't, yeah, he wasn't an angel. I'm not speaking for him, but he wasn't really in terms of wanting to have power by force. And I'll tell you why. When he finished, when the war ended, he was deputy head of state with General Yakub.
Go on.
Yes, I have this information on my tape up to today. I interviewed Gowon 2011 or 2000 and so. I interviewed him, and here in London, and I asked him the question that is it true that when you ask Awolowo to continue because he has to go because of the noise and that kind of thing, they don't want army. Is it true that Awolowo said, no, I want you to organize election. I want people to check. Many people keep thinking Awolowo is greedy, Awolowo just want to be president by force. He was not. He insisted that, no, and he said, when I get to Ikene, I will call you to tell you my decision. And when he got to Ikene, it's not on record. He phoned Yakubu Gowon to tell Yakubu Gowon that he wants him to go and organize an election. How many Nigerian politicians, do you know today that will ask for, has that kind of opportunity and still asking people's mandate? None. And that's Awolowo for you. So that could have not been a person who wants the mandate of the people, he wants the election to be run, that at the same time greedy to be the room to be greedy. It's already on the left side. He could have said, oh, wonderful. Let me continue. Give me the power. And one would have given him the support and make him to rule by force. But he wasn't the kind of a person like that. And that's why every time people say he was no, he was never a selfish man. He does never want to be president of Nigeria by force. That is the story. I want to be challenged. That is the story. And thereafter, what happened? Till 3 times he lost election. Did he organize any violence? He has always gone to court. Even when it was manipulated to 12 to 3rd, he has gone to court. When thereafter 83, he's gone to court. But because the forces, the people who are behind that, they make sure that Nigeria will never have a good president. They are the one that is distorting, making things impossible for him. Again, today, everybody is saying.
Would we say those people are still the people who are clamoring, well, let me not say deceptively, to say Nigeria can still be repaired? Do you think Nigeria can still be repaired?
Of course not. How can it be repaired when you have a contractor? You see, the one Bible, the one part of the Bible, the one document that all countries of this world are using is the constitution of that country. And if the constitution is so contracted, is so molded together, is not working, has a lot of ambiguities, how can you then openly say we are going to be together? Is it not clear that the constitution of 1999 amended has shown that there's so many contraptions, there's so many contradictions, there's so many things that does not favor two other parts of the country? It only favors one part. And when you look at all the odd things, ODD, odd things that are in the constitution, where the exclusive leagues, constitutionally concurrent, everything, nothing more. And when you now see that some of the recently being fought issue of open grazing, issue of VAT, These are part of the country that says they don't smoke, they don't go to whorehouses, they don't go to restaurants, they don't drink, they don't do anything that can generate VAT. But they want 67% of that VAT. Who does that? Is it not the same people that we are talking about that says, as far as we are concerned, we are not going to relinquish presidency to you in the South. As far as we are concerned, we want to be the president. Is it not the same people that want to 2021 allow open grazing where cows will be coming to your children's school, disrupt lessons? Is it not the same country that the same cow will be on the main road, disrupting of flow of traffic, or go to judiciary buildings?
Yeah, but these people are Nigerians and they have rights and they're living within the territory of Nigeria.
But the international arrangement, and as it is all over the world, people know that there will be despots in some countries, and that's why international rules sometimes have to prevail over a government or governance that insists that they want to oppress some of their people. It's not allowed, and that's why I want to congratulate and think the Yorubas are doing a very good job. Yes, it may not be as popular as we want it, but we now think this cannot continue in terms of how come do you want to continue to exploit us? You want to continue degrading us? You want to continue suffering us? Our children are not, they have no schools, they have no roads, they have nothing. They are now suffering. And you want us, when I say us, we the Yorubas, that we should sit down and continue to enjoy and clap for all these terrible things we are doing. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. That's why I believe the Yoruba project, Yoruba Nation project, they've done this the right one. And I want to use this opportunity to congratulate, to salute our leader, Professor Banji Akintoye, that one person among other thousands other people stood up to want to identify himself to a struggle like Yoruba Nation project. I want to salute him and I congratulate him, and I also want to appreciate him. So we have no any other thing to do but to struggle, to stride on, to continue this fight. But we are not fighting, to continue this campaign, because there's nowhere we should think or contemplate of going back. We started it, unless they want to come up with an offer that we cannot refuse. And those offers we cannot refuse is when the offer comes, people like me will hopefully be part of the people that will be delegated to go and talk to those people who are bringing us the offer. So far, for me, it is a case of we cannot afford to sit down where our people who are being disgraced, doing things bad to them, and we should sit down and watch things like that to happen.
Thank you, Otunba Olabode Osenie, for today. Until we come back again next time, we will take on more on question time with Otunba Olabode Osenie. You've spoken about offer, and we recently heard that the Northwest or some elders in the North have now started romancing some leaders of thought in the Yoruba land on what 2023 would look like. A lot of people are looking and saying 2023. We're still in 2021. We've not entered 2022, but a lot of people are thinking what's going to happen in 2023. So maybe we would talk more on that
Yes.
when we come back again and say what kind of offer or what kind of platform would be set for the Yoruba people, and how can the Yoruba people be engaged in a civil discourse on their question about whether they want to continue to be in Nigeria or not. So the question is to be or not,
to be. Thank you very much. I do appreciate, and I look forward to that day. I mean, according to you, you said every Thursday, every Wednesday, when the time permits, we'll be doing this regularly, and we should incorporate it into our struggle. Everybody, all the platform must see this, so they can at least also send in their question that they want us to treat. I want to thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
And I'm the one that's always interviewing people. I enjoy being interviewed by you. Thank you very much.
You're welcome, sir. It's my pleasure. So until next time, we'll see you again. Thank you very much.
Thank you.